Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing the XC European Outlook for today's second video. So as always on a Tuesday, we're having a look at the weather for the next 30 days slash 42, 6 weeks, for the UK and the rest of Europe as well, with the excellent ECMWF bottom. I should get off that view in a moment. Just say that Thursday was our 6 AM upload. And we've got the 10 to 14 day coming up for you later on this afternoon. So please like, share, subscribe on the videos. And thank you so much everyone for doing that. Right, let's start off with week 1. Mean cell pressure anomaly for Europe then. This taking us from the 26th of September to 3rd of October, the week that we're currently in. Of course, it was quite unsettled across much of northern Europe in the week ahead, with a trough of low pressure sitting through much of Europe, actually. We've got a ridge out in the Atlantic as well. And so this is pulling in quite cool air from the north on the western side of Europe. On the east side of Europe, though, we'd probably bring up something a little bit warmer from the south on the eastern side of that trough. The 500 millibar high tsunami from the Arctic and North Pole view down, looking like this. Again, we've got lots of below average heights, low pressure with this trough across much of Europe, actually. There is a ridge over on the eastern, far eastern, southeastern side of Europe, and also there's this big mid-Atlantic ridge heading up towards Greenland. The jet stream and wind flow going to be doing something a little bit like that. Right, so the temperature anomalies then, warmer than average in the east and the southeast of Europe, anywhere from southern Italy, the Balkans, northwards into the southwest of Russia, and then over towards the Black Sea, Greece, Turkey. These areas really quite warm actually in the week ahead, like 3 to 6 degrees above average. But conversely, out west, it's a lot cooler there, with below average temperatures for the UK, Ireland and Portugal in the far west, going all the way over towards Poland in the east. Up to Scandinavia, it's a bit cooler than average through those southern parts of Scandinavia, so like Denmark and southern Sweden and Norway, and also in southern parts of Finland and around the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania. But further northwards, it actually gets a little bit warmer than average across the extreme northern portions of Scandinavia. Precipitation-wise, quite unsettled in the coming week for much of Europe, with backdrop of low pressure, with above average rainfall from the west of Europe all the way over to the east. It's just really the far north of Scandinavia, and particularly Norway, that's a bit drier than normal, and also in this southeastern corner of the Mediterranean, so like Greece, Turkey, drier than average through there. Mediterranean-wise, it's like drier through Spain and Portugal, drier through Greece and Turkey, and then wetter through these central areas. So, you know, through the Balearic Islands, Mallorca, Menorca, Ibiza, Corsica, Sardinia, and Italy look wetter than normal in the week ahead. Right, going for week 2, which will be the 3rd to the 10th of October, we look like this. Big changes. The trough of low pressure gets pushed away into the east and the northeast of Europe. At the same time, a ridge of high pressure builds across these western parts of Europe. So that high pressure from the Atlantic pushes into western Europe, sending the trough over towards the east. The 500 millibar height anomaly looks like this, with above average heights through western side of Europe, a trough of below average heights over on the eastern and the northeastern side of Europe. The jet stream and wind flow doing something a little bit like that, with the trough taking the coolest of the air probably into the east and the northeast of Europe. Let's have a look at the temperature anomaly. So we see that the warmest temperatures are getting pushed away to extreme eastern side of Europe now and into the west of Russia. At the same time, most cooler than average temperature anomalies are drifting a little bit further eastwards as well. So much of Scandinavia goes cooler than average. Many parts of Western and also Central Europe going cooler than average. And the far west actually becomes a little bit warmer in this first full week of October. So Ireland, Spain, Portugal, and also parts of Britain turning a little bit milder than average, although France actually still looking rather on the cool side, especially eastern parts of France. And as far as the precipitation anomaly is concerned, the wettest weather is going over the extreme eastern, northeastern side of Europe and into western part of Russia as well. Meanwhile, it's a bit drier than normal in these western, northwestern areas like Scandinavia, UK, Ireland, France, Spain, Portugal. Goes drier than normal through there as that high pressure drifts in from off the Atlantic. Mediterranean wise, it's dry through Spain, Portugal. It's dry through Greece in particular, and also Turkey. Still, so it could be a little bit on the unsettled side through that central bowl of the Med. Italy looks a bit drier than average. Adriatic coast of the Balkans looking drier than average too. So the wettest weather definitely like in that far east and northeastern side of Europe. Week 3 will be the 10th to the 17th of October, with high pressure in the Atlantic and building into western and also southern parts of Europe. Could we be seeing a bit of a trough getting going through here, maybe? It's a bit inconclusive. Let's have a look at 500 millibar height anomaly. So that one is showing a ridge in the Atlantic. It does look as though the trough of low pressure is still there across much of northern Europe. That will take the coolest of the air through there. And this ridge down in the far south and southeast, that's going to try and bring up warmth into the eastern and the southeastern part of Europe. The temperature anomaly looks like that. So still largely cooler than average in many parts of Europe, actually. So like from western Russia through Scandinavia, Baltic Sea states, Poland, Germany, down into France, even extending in towards the Balkans, we see slightly below average temperatures. In the Mediterranean, it's not that warm, really, so the central bowl of the Med looks like it could be a bit cooler than average, and maybe slightly nearer normal over on the east side of the Med and for Spain as well, but it's not a particularly warm week at all, this. For the UK and for Ireland, we're closer to these warmer than average temperatures in the Atlantic, so that's a little bit warmer than average through there. But overall, that looks like quite a cool week, actually, for many parts of Europe once again. And the precipitation anomaly, weakening signals now. So we're drier than normal through Spain, Portugal. Drier than normal over on the east side of the Med through Greece in particular, possibly extending towards Turkey, and a little bit drier than normal through parts of Scandinavia. Otherwise, there's not much of a signal during their precipitation. Right, week 4 will be the 17th to 24th of October. It looks like this. Low pressure in the North Atlantic going into Scandinavia. High pressure through the central bowl of the Mediterranean. Otherwise, let's put in a question mark and have a look at the 500 millibar height anomalies. We look like that. So lower pressure from Iceland in towards Scandinavia. High pressure towards Spain, Portugal. Possibly bringing like a west-northwesterly flow into the western side of Europe. That might start to turn the north and western Europe a little bit more unsettled. But temperature anomaly, we're losing those cool or cold temperature anomalies. So it's becoming a bit warmer in the extreme west, Ireland, UK, probably Spain, Portugal, maybe western France, becoming a little bit warmer. Still a bit on the cooler side around Italy and the Adriatic and the Balkans, possibly the central pole of the Med. Otherwise, not much of a signal for temperatures. I reckon we could be starting to lift the temperature up a little bit in this week. Precipitation-wise, a bit of a north-south split, so much of northern Europe looking rather on the wetter side, especially Scandinavia, and back towards Scotland in particular. Meanwhile, further southwards, though, could be a bit on the cooler side, a little bit on the dry side, I should say, through Spain, Portugal, and into the Mediterranean. That looks like we're reverting to more of a zonal westerly type flow, with low pressure through here, high pressure down there, and bringing in westerlies from off the Atlantic. Right, week 4 will be the 24th to the 31st of October. That's how we're looking. High pressure building across central and western parts of Europe. That probably dragging up quite warm air into the north and the west of Europe. Let's have a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly. So above average heights extending in from the Atlantic. Let's do that again. Above average heights, side pressure extending in from the Atlantic into western parts of Europe. Probably going to be some low pressure up here, I would have thought. So again, quite a westerly type flow with that. By the way, we're past the 30-day outlook now, so this is all rather speculative, and it just an add-on because the charts are there. So the north and west of Europe are going warmer than average. East and south of Europe maybe a little bit on the cooler side. And the precipitation anomaly still hinting maybe it being a bit wetter in the north and a bit drier in the south. And then finally go through the week 6, which will be the 31st of October, 7th of November. And high pressure just generally building across much of Europe in this week. So it looks like there's a lot of high pressure at play as we go into the early part of November. The 500 millibar heights anomaly, again, just showing lots of above average heights really extending through much of Europe. The temperature anomaly is warmest in the west, so above average in the west for the early part of November, and you will think this is going to be relatively dry. So it is a weak signal, but looks pretty dry across much of northern, central and also western Europe. So a dry, mild start to November there. We'll worry about that a little bit closer to the time frame. For October, or most of October anyway, it looks rather cool, I have to say, through the first half of the month in particular, across much of Europe actually. Many parts of Europe looking really quite cool in the first half of October. Possibly a bit of a recovery later on as we revert to more of a zonal westerly flow. And then, it becomes much more speculative per month ending into November. We'll do it all over again next Tuesday with another extended European outlook. We will look at this model another time though this week. That'll be on Saturday morning with a focus on the UK and on Ireland for that one. So that will be coming up on Saturday. Remember, any forecast beyond 5-7 days comes with big health warnings attached, so it's all just for fun and speculation. So don't take it too seriously. Right, we'll be back later on with your 10 to 14 day. That will include all of the regular features, so come back for that in a little while. But for this week's extended European outlook, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.